There are hundreds of new projects launched every day in the crypto space. They all promise utility, upward price movement, and new tokenomic innovations. Yet, most projects fail, or even worse, scam you out of your hard-earned money. So where do you know where to invest in the crypto space? In today's video, we're going to cover how we do our own research and how we review projects. Today on Blockchain Trends. First, you have to know where to find projects to research. A popular website, in fact, the most popular website is called CoinMarketCap. Second to that is CoinGecko. Now, there are sites like CoinMooner and others in its class that you can find projects on, but I like to use CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko simply because they have the best tools and resources. But what about projects that aren't listed on CMC or CoinGecko? Well, those are harder to find. Oftentimes you have to make a Telegram and join a Telegram call group like Caesar's Calls, Travlad, or Venom. And of course these will vary depending on what chain you like to use. But you have to be wary of using these call groups because they are paid to call any project that pays them. So oftentimes the investors in these groups will take advantage by buying the bottom and selling the top. This often results in the project being pumped and dumped and eventually leading to its end. It is often safer to wait until they have gotten out to get into the project. That way you'll protect yourself from the influx and volume and from buying the top of the project. Finally, word of mouth is the best and most successful way to find new crypto projects. I suggest that you make a Telegram account and join crypto investor groups like ours at Blockchain Trends Official, linked here. We find and research new projects all the time so that you don't have to. After you find the project that you want to research using one of the following methods that I suggested earlier, the first thing you want to look for is the quality of the written content and the spelling. Make sure that is good to go. Also note what blockchain that they are using. Next, you want to check out their social media and website. If the website looks rushed or really bad, that's often telling of the team's quality control. Next, look for a white paper. A white paper is a document that tells you the vision and the long-term goals of the project and a general overview. Depending on the type of project, some will be longer or shorter. For example, if it's a meme token, the white paper should be shorter than of a specialty tokenomics coin because a meme coin's tokenomics are going to be a lot easier to understand than a specialty tokenomics coin, which is going to take a lot of explaining to do. Look at the quality of the white paper. Is it well thought out? Does it make sense? Scroll down. Is there a roadmap? Is it good? Is it easy to follow? Is it realistic? All of these things you have to take into account because oftentimes scammers will use a roadmap that is absolutely impossible to follow but looks really good to try to scam you. And if it doesn't have a roadmap at all, that's a red flag to get out of there, to be honest. After, join their Telegram. Telegram is arguably the most popular platform for cryptocurrencies because it features end-to-end encryption. First, note the number of Telegram members versus the activity in the Telegram. If there are a lot of members and low activity, it's likely that Telegram is botted. Scammers will bot Telegrams to make you think that there is a much larger community than there really is. A project can be in one of three camps: the pre-sale phase, the launch/early phase, or its post-launch phase. If you found the project on CMC, then it must be in its early launch phase or post-launch phase, which means you missed the boat on pre-sale, but you can still find a nice entry. Now, if you found it through an influencer call group or word of mouth, it's likely that it's still in its pre-sale phase and you can get the best entry possible by getting in that pre-sale. Now, it is the riskiest move to invest in a pre-sale because there is a lack of information available about the project and the team and its performance. So it is the biggest risk. Let's assume you found a project on a call channel and it's still in its pre-sale phase. You want to look for a couple things in the pinned messages. You'll want to look for an audit, KYC or doxing, the contract address, and the pre-sale platform. KYCs, or know your customers, and doxing is very important because it shows that the team is willing to have their contract be scrutinized, and it shows that the team is willing to be scrutinized for whatever happens to the project, successful or not. If they are planning to do the KYC or doxing later, there's a high chance that they might not do it at all, because a lot of projects like to get that out of the way before they launch the pre-sale, because it looks better on those platforms. So I would wait, take a back seat, let's see if they do it. Now, the reward might outweigh the risk to take the pre-sale, but I would not recommend that. If the project is already launched, I would do everything that I stated above, excluding the pre-sale stuff. And first, look into the pinned messages for the contract address. Don't look in DMs, don't look in the main Telegram. Those are scams, especially DMs. If somebody DMs you with the contract address, it's 100% a scam. So now, you're going to take that contract address that you just copied and you're going to run it through a website called Token Sniffer. Now, the link to that website is going to be in the description below. Now, the reason that you run it through this website is because it looks for contract vulnerabilities. Now, it's important to note that these aren't perfect, and sometimes they make mistakes because it is a bot looking through the contract. But it's definitely better than nothing, especially if you don't know anything about contract addresses or contracts in general. After, you're going to want to copy that contract address into DexTools. They cover almost every single blockchain, and they're a very good chart manager. So look for any suspicious chart activity. If this chart is going up all the time, unless it's a Rebase token, it's a honeypot. Don't enter. That means if you don't see many cells on the drop-down menu with all the transactions, then you want to run for the hills. You don't want to do that. You also want to make sure that the liquidity pool is locked through any service. Just make sure it's in the pinned messages. Is the liquidity locked? What service did you provide? If not, ask the question. This is important because the team can access the liquidity at any time if the liquidity is unlocked. You want to make sure that the liquidity is at least locked for a month. That way, it's guaranteeing that they can't pull the liquidity out from under you in plain sight. So you take that contract address one more time and run it through BSC scan or Etherscan, or the scan of the blockchain that you want to run, and you're going to look for max wallets under the holders section. Now, if you see a max wallet that's over 2% and it's not specified by the team, it's likely a private sailor or somebody who bought really early when the liquidity is low and is likely going to dump when the coin starts getting some action. So I would say far away from that. There's also one more thing you want to check. You would go into the transaction sections, scroll to the beginning, and see if another contract has been interacting with the project contract. Now, these projects like the Interceptor bot will actually intercept contract addresses and scoop up small sums of the supply using many wallet addresses. Now, the sum of these wallets can be massive. So it's one of the ways that these bots can actually hurt a project by scooping up massive amounts of the supply under the radar. Now, not a lot of people know this, but it's a very important thing to check. But this isn't everything that we look for at Blockchain Trends, but it is the most important things for you to look for when you are researching a token. Using all of the information that we've gathered, we can then be ready to assess the project for review on the Blockchain Trends YouTube channel. First, we look at the type of token. Whether it's a meme token, especially tokenomics coin, or utility token, they will be assessed differently based on the attributes of each token. That way, it's not a one-size-fits-all system, and it's fair for each type of token. We use a 1 through 10 point scale, 1 being the worst project ever, 5 being the best project ever, 5 is average. So we applied that 1 through 10 scale and assess each category. So there's 4 categories in total: fundamentals, team, longevity, and marketing. For the team, we ask ourselves, is the vision sound? Do they have a good white paper? Is their message clear? Team, is the team meeting its goals? Are they KYC'd or doxed? Is the team transparent and active? Marketing, do they have a solid marketing plan? Do they have a marketing guy? Do they have an active social media presence and good engagement? Longevity, would this project be good in the long term or the short term? Do they have a long-term plan? All of these categories are important to assess because if they check all the boxes, that leads to them being a good project, in our opinion. Now, we take the mean of those scores, and then we provide an overall score. And this is how we assess tokens on blockchain trends before they are reviewed on our channel. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you how I vet a project in real time. So now we're going to head over to CMC. So finding projects here, you can see the BTC and ETH dominance, the gas fees for Ethereum, and you could see all of the popular coins here. So I usually go to the Spotlight. So let's go to trending here. Spotlight, you can see trending, biggest gainers, biggest losers, most visited, and recently added. So this is a good spot to look for tokens because this is what's hot. Now, of course, I pre-selected a couple tokens for us today that I'm going to go to now. Alright, so I just found this token. It's Shinjiro Inu. So from this, we can tell it's a meme coin. I mean, if it has Inu and a dog, I mean, it's very classic. Everybody does that. I've seen a million tokens do that. So already I'm not very impressed by the branding, to be honest with you. Alright, so now we're going to look at the description. It is so short. If they really have an ecosystem, then they should really outline it on their CMC page, because it's really not impressive to me. So let's see their website here. This is their landing page. Shinjiro Inu, going through true deflationary techniques for their income generation for its ecosystem. Cool. Dynamic ecosystem, eliminating issues to like its volume, marketing, visions, eliminate the metaverse, the Shinji huh? Have land. So they want a whole metaverse, huh? One burn, 1% liquidity pool, 2% market. Well, very simple tokenomics, it seems like. I like how they outline the roadmap, it's kind of shady. Like classic how to buy, Okay, so let's go through. Here's their official white paper. Looks neat, contents overview by position. No, okay, if you put decent utility in your white paper, wow, that's a red flag already. Jeez. The side mission is create sophisticated ecosystem on NFTs. You can name at least 20 tokens that have these unique selling points. Roadmap, very simple. Call groups, fair launch. Shinji swap, white paper release. White paper release in phase 2? What? That's nuts. Okay, staking, farming, Okay, clearly these guys have everything on phase 3. We're just going to shove everything on phase 3 and hope people invest in the token. Wow, so this doesn't even come out till phase 2. Yikes. That's all I have to say. Yikes. They're not looking too good already. Alright, so let's go find their social media. Let's see, their Twitter. Bullish. Okay, looks like they have a Chinese presence. That's a good thing to see. Started. A lot of their chart. Looks like they have some influencers. Have some decent marketing, sure. Yeah, I could see, a decent amount of traction there. Oh, they have quite a bit of followers. Hopefully those were paid for. Alright guys, so now I'm on their main Telegram. Their Telegram seems very active. It's 2,160 members, and I think that's right. I don't think they're botted, at least too much. Maybe a couple hundred members are bots, but seems to be legit. They have a tech rate audit. I went through all the pinned messages. What I didn't see is a liquidity pool lock or a KYC or doxing event. It just seems so sketchy already to me because it just has such a large supply and they don't have a doxing and they don't have a liquidity pool lock. So let's just go through it and make sure it's not a scam entirely. So I like to use the Seifu free scanner. Sometimes Token Sniffer isn't up and working like it is right now, so I usually use Stay Seifu after that and the honeypot detector. So now this is a BSC token. So I ran it through the scanner here. Shinjiro Inu, they have a 99.9% rating out of 100. So that seems to be safe. and to just enter it, you just paste the contract address there, and then it will bring it up for you and scan it. Same thing with the honeypot detector. Is it a honeypot? Boom, it just scans the contract, seeing, you know, what's up with it, but it's not. So we're good to go on that end. So we're gonna go through here. It's a BSC coin, so it sits on the Binance Smart Chain. Now there's kind of a healthy activity of buying and selling, so it doesn't seem too concerning that it's a scam there, because if it was a honeypot, it would just be up and to the left forever and ever and ever, and there would be no selling. So it looks like there's a healthy amount of selling in the token, so we're good to go there. So we're going to look at the contract address and see, go through the beginning of the transactions and see if there's been any contracts interacting with this contract. So we're going to go all the way to the end here. So this, don't be alarmed about, this is the initial keys when they deployed it. So this is the wallet that owns it, that deploys the contract. So it looks good. Approve, approve. I'm going to look through the next couple pages. Approve, 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 approve. Alright, so it looks like they renounced the ownership. That's interesting. So that means they can't go back and change the contract at all. Alright. Okay, so it looks like they're good to go on that end. So now we're going to check Max wallets. Okay, so here's the holders. Okay, 2%. Now, I guess I'll just discount these as marketing and whatnot. But, you know, look at all these. They own over 1% of the supply, and there's a lot of them. I'd just be very wary, because these wallets, once this token gains some traction, are going to dump that top, and it's not going to be pretty at all. I'll tell you that. Yikes. Yep, this token is definitely your run-of-the-mill token. A 66 out of 99 DEX store. Definitely something that I wouldn't invest in. Not something that you should invest in either, unless you want to take a gamble. You know, go to the casino, you probably have better luck. But definitely something that you should invest in if you want to find a serious project or a serious meme coin that's actually trying to gain some community value. So yeah, that shows a little bit about our process and how we do things here at Blockchain Trends. It is so important to protect yourself when investing in cryptocurrency projects, as it is easy to be taken for a ride or to be scammed. DeFi is a double-edged sword. We are free from decentralization, but must take the time to protect ourselves. Too many people are scammed out of their hard-earned money because they don't take the time to invest in these crypto projects. Always invest what you are willing to lose, because every crypto project is a risk. So it is important that you manage your risk very carefully. At the end of the day, even if a project looks good, it can still fail. So be careful out there, guys, and we'll see you next time on Blockchain Trends.